Good morning, YouTube. I'm Brian, and on this episode of Is It Overland, we're going to continue some work on the frame. We're going to weld the tongue hitch receiver on and the pieces of angle iron I need to put on there to support that weight and the structural integrity of the tongue. And then
we will end up scrubbing corrosion and paint off hardware, sandblasting and painting the frame by the end of this video.
You try to burn me down, but my spirit just refined. Like a phoenix from the ash, find my strength from within. I am stronger than before. I know, let it go. Right.
this thing's probably 60 pounds or so. 50, 60 pounds, not too bad. So I'm taking the bushings out of the leaf springs, and I've got the one side out very easy. The next side, a little tougher, so you get a socket. Just put it in there. It's just the same, a little less than the hole diameter. Get my dead blow, and then pop it right out. I've got 3 of these. One of them came out pretty easy, but the other 3 are not cooperating. And once you get it out and that tapered part of the bushing breaks loose, they pop right out. Alright, so not to bore y'all with a 5-minute time lapse of me welding, I just went ahead and took a couple shots, and for my $150 Harbor Freight welder, took me a little bit, but I had to lay down some good beads. Got up underneath the corner over here for the other side, and ain't that a do? So now we're going to get this piece of angle iron I bought. We're gonna put it back here, cut it to length. We're gonna, just like the other one, we're gonna weld around the edges, and then we're gonna weld up the sides of each on the angle iron, and then on the back it's a little gap, so we'll see there. If not, no big deal. It'll have plenty of support all the way around it. All right, after a little bit of time, I had to take breaks because this welder, well, this is a little cheap welder, but I had to take breaks here and there and get a little hot. So I took water breaks and stuff, but got the angle iron welded up, got it tacked in up there, so, and then I got some beads ran all the way around and around the corner, up and down, around the front of that, up in the front of the hitch as well. And then obviously we got it on this side as well. This one was a little worse, but that's no big deal. Up, over, around. So our next little thing we're gonna do today is we gotta weld this on. And in the previous episodes you've seen that this was bolted on, but since there's only this top part holding the bolt in, there's nothing here to support it, so it's kind of loose. So I'm going to weld it right there. Oh, that's the UPS driver. We just bought us our other strut. We'll do a live unboxing right now. Good old Rock Auto. And just like another one, got the strut. See if I got my sticker. Or my magnet, I should say, not my sticker. And nope, they say a strut for a 1976 Toyota pickup does not condone a magnet. My homemade handle is coming off. I broke the handle off this grinder years ago, so I just got a piece of metal, bend it, drill the hole through it, and then use the bolt from the old handle and put it on there. So, and I put a little bit of tape on there. Works just fine. Alright, I just finished up welding the jack on. I went ahead and threw some spray paint on there on the weld so they don't flash rust tonight. And so when we sandblast, there won't be as much to clean up. So got everything welded over here. That will work. Next thing we're gonna do with the welder before I put the welder away is the bolt I broke off yesterday. I don't know if you noticed in the picture, in the video, I broke this bolt off. So we're gonna weld it. We're gonna weld the nut onto that and get that out of there.
So as y'all could tell, I went from welding to drilling out. Well, the welding didn't work, so I had to drill out that bolt.
All right, now we're inside the house. We're gonna wash the bushings up with some hot soapy water and a dry towel. We're going. Alright, so it's been a couple days since I was last working on the project. I had to take a couple days off to just relax, but I also had to get some stuff taken care of. I had to go down to the cousin's house and pick up his pressure washer because my little electric one did not work for the sandblaster I was telling you. I did test the sandblaster out. It does a really good job. So I'm going to finish that up, but while I was doing that, I did find some weld problems. So if anybody is familiar with welds, that is not good. So we got a little bit right here. I'm gonna clean that up, and I'm gonna clean that up as well. That's horrible. What it looked like. And then the sandblasting I have done looks like this. It has been a couple days, so there's a little bit of surface rust, but you can wipe that off. It works really well. So. Alright, so we're getting ready to paint the frame today, but first we're going to soak the parts, the nuts and bolts that we took off the frame. And I bought this Rust-Oleum rust dissolver thinking it was like a Evapor-Rust, which is like a slow acting, very safe chemical, but as you can tell, this is bubbling, and we're gonna put this rusted part in there. And right where it's at, you can already see it starting to bubble. It's like instant, so definitely do not get this on your hands, but it's like instant rust bubbles. So, and as you can tell, this part right here, I put it in and it's got the paint on there still, but the end of this was like completely rusted, and within 20-30 seconds, it was already to bare metal. So it works very well. So if you want a rust remover, rust dissolver, not paid, by the way, not paid. I got another handful of nuts and bolts that were in the bed of the trailer, so we're gonna put those right there in the corner. Watch those immediately start to bubble. It says 30 minutes, so I already have my timer set for 30 minutes. So after 30 minutes, we'll come out here and clean this stuff up, save what we can, and then paint the rest so it doesn't dissolve or rust over again. All right, so it's been a little over 30 minutes. Had these parts soaking for a minute, so you can see that red part is actually paint. It's the same color as the bed, and it came off the back of these perches. And we're gonna get some safety equipment on, get these cleaned up. I got my strainer here. I'm gonna pour this into the strainer, Then I'm gonna put this big piece over here in this bucket to start soaking that. Then we'll pour the rest of it back in the empty container and then throw that away because I'm not gonna reuse that. It's not worth saving. But while I was at the store earlier, I went ahead and picked up a blowtorch. For one, want one, but I need it today because I'm going to heat up the frame nice and warm, not hot, not too hot, but just warm enough so when I put the paint on there, it'll stick, and also to help get all the condensation from last night. It was a little cool this morning, so you can feel a little bit of condensation on there. So it'll help burn some of that surface rust off. So we'll get you set up and start the day. So we're changing our mode of attack. So press up off the floor. I'm going to get my scrub brushes and I'm going to scrub this stuff. Because I was looking, this stuff will come off if I scrub it in this solution. So alright, I got these cleaned up. We're about to paint them. And we'll see what it looks like. I've never used these turbo nozzles before, so here we go. Oh, dang. Definitely put some coating on there. Jeez. As you'll see throughout the day, I'm not the best painter, but it's a trailer. It's going to be getting put off-road. I think it'll be A-OK. Yeah, I know there's paint on the threads, but that'll come off whenever you start threading them on there. So we'll let that dry for a minute, and then we'll come back and flip everything over and paint again. Alright, so now we got the torch out. We're gonna go ahead and torch this frame real quick. Freaking axle? Dang, they weren't supposed to ship that. I was supposed to come pick that shit up. Hell, I appreciate it. Hell yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Have a good day, man. Hey. Alright, well, while I was doing the frame, I'm sure y'all saw, I'm not finished yet, by the way. While I was blowtorching the frame, I don't know if y'all saw, I was staring at the FedEx guy. Well, I happen to not be expecting any packages, so he comes out and he has what looks like a weight bar with some weights on it. Well, it's the axle my cousin ordered that I said I was gonna go pick up, but they weren't supposed to ship it. So since it was close, I guess they decided to ship it instead of me coming to pick it up, which is very nice of them. I don't know what the company is. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what the company is. Like I said, my cousin, he says something Axles Plus. So once I find out the name, I'll give him a real shout out. But let's see what we got here. I'm trying not to destroy anything because I don't know what's underneath all this. And I know there's like electrical lines and stuff like that for the brakes that my cousin ordered with it, so I don't want to destroy any of that. There's that. There's the lines. There's the hub seal, looks like. Sorry if I'm in the way. I just... Hey, there's a poke noodle. All right. That's all the trash there. All right, so now we're going to spray paint the frame. I got the blowtorch and dried it all off, got all the debris off. Now we're gonna get up here and do some spray painting. And as my alarm is going off, turn that off. I'm gonna leave it like this, standing up so I can get the bottom and the insides, and then when that dries in a few hours, we'll put it back on the jack stands and we'll paint the rest of it. So all right, so got the frame painted, letting that dry. Got the leaf springs painted. Let me take all over there real quick. I forgot to show you all that. I have a little scrap wood pile that I have the leaf springs painted on. I gotta flip them over here in a minute and paint them, but got those painted up. Those are looking good. Look brand new after I sandblasted them. Got all the grease junk off of them. We go over here. Got the carb cleaner out. So let's carb clean that residue of the acid off of there. And then these little nuts and bolts hold the fuel tank on the bottom of the trailer. So we don't want those. This one bee is not leaving me alone. I'm going to, those are my hands, spray them. I'm gonna set these somewhere. There we go. I just set them on top of the power washer for now. I'm gonna go set these in the sun, and then I'm gonna go flip the leaf springs and paint the other sides of those. I think those will be good enough to flip. And then I had a can with a little bit of oil left in it. Just put those little bolts in there, swish around, that'll keep it from rusting. And so I'll put them in there. Then when I put them in there, then I'll hit them with a little bit of spray paint to coat them up when I'm done. All right, so to hang the leaf springs up, I painted them on the ground a second ago, but that was not working. So got my piece of rebar. I found a piece of 1-inch rebar by 5 feet on the road a couple years ago, and I use it for certain things. So I put it on the end of the hoist I have, the A-frame I have, sorry. And then I just went ahead and put the leaf springs, one of the leaf springs eyelets through that. And now I can paint all the sides of this without it being on the ground. I'll show you a little bit of the paint process. So between the A-frame posts, got a piece of wire, obviously, and I got the part, so we're just gonna put a nice thick coat of paint on here. Do this side, and I'll go to the other side. And just like that, got ourselves a nice coat of paint on all the parts. Easy peasy. And then over here, these are parts I painted earlier. They're sitting in the sun. They were super tacky. That's why earlier when I said something about the leaf springs being dry and hard, paint goes on a little tacky. You let it sit in the sun, it'll harden up. Alrighty, well, we got the frame back down on the jack stands. Well, cinder blocks with the wood. I didn't want it to scratch. Jack stands are right there. But as you can tell, we got it nice and painted. I had to put it down and do some touch-up stuff. But other than that, it's glistening in the sun as it's now drying. I had to, like down here in the bottom, this was basically right up against the ground, so I couldn't get that. We went ahead and hit the wire wheel with that earlier. I did that off camera because it's hard to record and do wire wheel at the same time. But got all these brackets painted up. I showed you all these earlier, but this is a final video of the day. Got that. Here's the axle ready to go. I got to order some spring perches and some U-bolt. But here's the carpet. I don't know if y'all seen that standing around. It's gonna go in the bed of the trailer later in a future episode. And then we went ahead and started on the fuel tank. So the fuel tank on the inside has just got this little bit of surface rust and grime. So I went ahead and put some of that rust dissolver I was using earlier in here. You can maybe hear it, but I gotta support. I already had it on the bottom for a little bit. We're gonna put it on each side for 30 minutes or so and let it do its thing, pour it out, rinse it out, and coat it with some WD-40 or something so it doesn't flash rust again. Then I've got some paint stripper. We're gonna paint strip that, and we're gonna paint it black as well. So, okay, that will end this episode. We are going to call it a day, and on the next episode we will go ahead and install the leaf springs, because we finally got the axle perches and U-bolts in. They sent these separate from the axle. They sent it through like the mail, so I got those a couple days later. We'll get the axles put on, or the leaf springs put on, then we'll get the axle over here, and we'll orientate that, put it where it needs to be, weld the leaf spring perches on, then we'll put the wheels and tires on, and then they'll be movable again. Thanks for watching this episode on Is It Overland? We'll see you next time.